This is the only advice you need with business success speaker, Matt Hyams. Today we're talking about how to be an empathetic leader, why it's important to feel people's pain. By the time we're done, you'll be feeling pain, yours and everyone else's. All right, let's do this. How do you lead with empathy? You can't lead if you're not empathetic. A lot of times people will say, oh, I can lead without empathy. No, you can't. You have to be empathetic. Empathy is the number one trait that makes a good leader, and it's the hottest trait right now for leadership. People are looking for empathetic leaders, which means that they can empathize with people's struggles. They can feel your pain, which is something I always tell people right off the bat when I interview them for the job. With new employees, I say, welcome, please have a seat. I ask them if they'd like something to drink, if they want something, to eat, whatever. And as soon as they sit down, I say, I just want you to know right off the bat, I can feel your pain. And a lot of times they think that's some kind of metaphor, that I'm some sort of spiritual guru, which I am. But that's a side note. That's a different thing. It's a sidebar. I tell them, no. I don't mean that metaphorically. I say I can literally feel your pain. Because I'm not only empathetic, I'm also an empath. I got certified as an empath. I'm a level 5 empath, actually, which means that I can feel your pain. That's the level that I reached in empathy, in empath school. Sort of like a black belt of empathy. It's when you can feel someone's pain. And look, you might say, this is incredible. Well, it doesn't always work out for me, because if people have had any burns, I feel them. I've been in a meeting with people that I'm hiring, and guess what? My anus will start burning. And I'll say to them, I'll ask them, I'll have to, did you have any kind of anal injury recently? And they're like, that's incredible. How did you know that? And I said, because I can feel your pain. And now my anus is burning. And they're like, yeah, I did. I had an anal fissure this morning. That happened to me one meeting, and I couldn't believe this person still came in for the interview. I said, you came in for this interview after having an anal fissure? And they said, yeah, I heard it was a great place to work. I didn't want to miss out on this opportunity. I said, well, guess what? I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is you're hired. The bad news is get the hell out of here because I'm burning up inside and I can't take it. Please go home. Start next week. For crying out loud, don't come in here ever with an anal fissure because I will feel it. Any given day, I'm walking around with 1,000 ailments going on in my body because I can feel the pain of all my employees, which only makes me a better leader. However, I'm falling apart. People say, oh, you got a case of the Mondays. You know what that means to me? It means I got 5 employees in my company who've got herpes. So on Monday, I've got a case of the merpies when they've got outbreaks. Coincidentally, it was also a band I was in, the Merpies. Didn't work out, but I can feel herpes outbreaks. I can feel anal fissures. I can feel cuticle sores, emotional pain. Sometimes, though, to be an empathetic leader, you really have to show people that you can be trusted. A lot of leaders, they'll say, oh, I'm empathetic. That's just lip service. You got to show it to them. So people say, can we talk about some of the directives we're doing for our clients? I'll say to them, tell me where you're hurting. Actually, don't tell me because I know. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you're full of fear and you've never been loved. They're like, no, I've been loved. I have a beautiful spouse. My parents love me. I'm like, no, they didn't. You've never been loved, I tell them, and you probably won't ever be. But I'm going to start loving you right now, and I want you to know that. So you are loved, starting right this instant. Right now, you are loved by me. And they come back. They fight me on it. They're like, no, I really am loved. I have children. I've got a family. I say that you're not loved. They don't love you, but I do. Starting today, this is your first day of the love in your life. And they're not alone. I need love too. Everybody does. Empathy doesn't always come in the form of not having love in your life or physical pain, though. It can also maybe mean someone close to them died and they're having a hard time dealing with work or they're having mental health struggles. So I tell everyone, come to me if you're having a hard time. Let me know what's up. And what I do is I then relate my own struggle to theirs. If they say my father died, I'm having a hard time getting work done, I say my father and mother died. I want them to see that I went through the same thing, so I know what they're talking about. If they say my sister's got cancer, I say my sister has AIDS. So I always try to make it a little bit worse than what they're going through. They can say, okay, some people have it worse than I do. I shouldn't worry about what's going on with my sister dying from cancer because this guy's sister died from AIDS. So if they say I'm getting a divorce, I say, so am I. And I'm going to get it before you. I always try to one up their struggle so they don't feel their struggle so big anymore. What that does is it says to them, oh, my struggle is not as big as some other people's. When that employee had an anal fissure and I said, I can feel your pain, I didn't stop there. I said, I don't even have an anus anymore. Because I wanted them to realize that their anal fissure was less than what I was going through. I said, so you tell me what's worse. At least you've still got yours. I don't even have mine. I had one employee once who said, I've got some kind of burning sensation in my urethra. I said, I don't even have a urethra. I don't even have a penis anymore. I just have a gaping wound. They said, well, that's terrible. I said, I know. I know it's terrible. But just know that when you tell me you have a burning sensation in your urethra, I know how you feel, and I'm empathetic towards you. So one minute they're feeling pain in their urethra, the next minute they're having an empathetic moment with their leader, which breeds oxytocin. I'm leaking oxytocin. So they understand that I know what's going on with them. So load up on your struggles. Make sure that you always have something a little bit worse than what your people are going through. This is for the leaders out there. You want to be an empathetic leader. You want people to feel comfortable coming to you because let's face it, our personal lives, we don't leave them outside the office. They follow us into work. And you want people to feel like they're still them when they go into work, when they walk into the office, that they're still who they are outside of the office, in the office. And the way you make that happen is by having empathy, by being an empathetic leader. So how else do you get empathy? Well, you have to suffer. You have to put yourself into situations where you're going to suffer, which means, for one, maybe dating people that are wrong for you, so you feel the suffer of love, failed relationships, buying a terrible car, let it break down on the highway. If you're going to get a pet, don't get the cute golden retriever that's going to be easy. Get that Rottweiler that no one's too sure about at the pound. That they're kind of like, you sure you want to take this? Because we were going to put it down. Keeps eating people's balls. And you got to say, no, that's the one I want. Give me that Rottweiler because I have to learn about empathy. I named my first Rottweiler Empathy, which was ironic because it's how I lost my balls. But I gained a friend with the Rottweiler who I did end up putting down because I don't know what the expression is. Eat my balls once, shame on me. Eat my anus, also shame on me. But you're going down. Another thing you can do is make friends with people who you know are going to die soon. So you feel that loss constantly. For a while, when I was learning how to be an empathetic leader, all of my friends were people with terminal illnesses. I had a deal with a doctor. I said, give me a list of all your patients that aren't going to live much longer. And I'd enter these people's lives and I'd say, I want to be there for you. And they said, this is fantastic. But I nearly killed myself from all of the pain and suffering that I felt from them. Sometimes they weren't welcoming because they were like, I don't know who you are. This is kind of stressful for me to have a new friendship with a stranger so suddenly. And I was like, just do it and shut up. I need this a lot more than you do. I'm trying to be an empathetic leader. And let's face it, nothing that you do really matters anymore. And I learned empathy from those people. And I think they learned it from me. You know, they taught me a lot about what it is to live for about 10 days with a stranger as a new friend, that stranger being me. So that's another way you can do it. And you can also leave your family. Even if you love them, come back, but for a little while, for like a month, make them think that you're not coming back so that you can feel what it's like to really lose the people that you love in your life. You got to be careful because cautionary tale, I did that. And after a month, I said, just kidding. But my wife had moved on. Turns out she was more than ready to move on than I thought. The joke was on me. I didn't bargain for that. She was more than willing to get to the next stage of her life, which apparently didn't involve me. So that was a failed attempt at empathy. And I haven't seen my children, but that's okay because I have new kids in my life. If she thought that was my only family, she's got another thing coming. I always keep more than one family going just in case of an emergency. So those are a few tips on how to build empathy. Make friends with terminally ill people. Leave your family for a little bit. Get a dangerous dog that eats balls. One up your struggles to the people that you work with and who work for you so they know that you're going through something worse. Go to empathy school. Become an empath, level 5. Keep training. And just keep trying to listen and feel other people's pain. And watch your money skyrocket. All right. I'll see you next time for the only advice you need.